All right. Well, guys, introduce yourself. What's up?
Hey guys, I'm Samir. I'm the CEO of Highbeam. Highbeam is a financial platform for consumer brands to manage cash flow and profitability. What does that mean? Three things. One, access to the best financial products. Two, the automation to make them actually usable. And three, hopefully the intelligence to help you make better business decisions. And so you don't take my word for it. I brought along one of our best customers, Sib from Branch Furniture. So I'll let Sib introduce himself.
Nice. Hey, I'm Sib. I'm one of the founders of Branch. We sell work products, primarily office furniture, some other cool things too. And we sell to both consumers and businesses. We've been around for, I guess, 6 years now, 6.5-ish. Team of 70-ish, based in New York and Toronto. We love Samir. We love Highbeam. And
Toronto. I used to live in
Yeah.
Toronto. There we go. Dude, we're all going to be friends. This is awesome.
I'm
Well, dude,
Canadian as well. I was born in Hamilton.
Oh, right on.
Matt, I'm going to do one better. In front of me right now is a Branch laptop stand. These
No
guys
way.
make the absolute greatest laptop stand. Okay. So if you're listening to this right
let's
now and you're like,
go.
hey, I need to look as handsome as Sean on my computer. Dude, you guys really, best in class. I've looked at a bunch of them. You guys are some of my favorites. So,
Love that. I actually should be using it right now.
It's super cool. Like, we've not had anybody from furniture on the show. And I think Sean knows this, but like, I grew up in a family where like we ran furniture retail stores. Like my grandparents did, my mom did, my uncles did. Shit, at one point I worked in them. It's a hard ass business, dude. Like this, you did not
Yeah.
pick a great category. Like wallets sucks, phone cases suck, drinkware hard. You just decided to like kick the hard bucket over the line and just go into shit territory. Like what?
We picked the Bulbasaur as our starting Pokemon. Yeah, we made it as hard as possible. No, there's pros and cons to the category, but I feel like each of us has our own crosses to bear. I know, Sean, you talk about the wallets and the lack of repeatability sometimes, but yeah, with Branch, the B2B story was where we started, and that didn't last very long with COVID. Consumer furniture is definitely tougher, but we've made it work, and partly with folks like Samir helping us, but we can get into all that.
okay, so yeah, tell us why and how you use Highbeam. Why'd you pick it? What does it do? I'm gonna be cards on the table. I'm in the middle of onboarding. I have a signed deal to work with Highbeam. I'm paying for it. I don't know if actually it's a free. Just tell me the whole fucking product. What did I sign up for?
Yeah, love it. So I guess I'll start maybe with just a little context, which is that, we talked about furniture being a tough category, right? And I think that's part of why Branch has been kind of from the beginning very, very concerned with profitability and efficiency. And we're venture backed, but we don't really run ourselves like a venture backed business. We run like we're going to die every year, because every year we've probably almost died at some point. And so I think what we're thinking about our banking partners, right? There's a couple of things that matter to us. And kind of all of this is maybe in the shadow of the SVB stuff that happened a couple of years ago as well. One is we want like a reliable partner. Like we don't want to fuck around with this, if that's allowed to be said.
Oh yeah.
You
Okay.
say anything you
Nice.
You're good. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep going.
We want a reliable partner. We want a counterparty that we can trust. And so we're pretty skeptical, right, inherently of neobanks and kind of all these innovative blah, blah, blah solutions. But let's just say step one, reliable. Step two, ideally, we want a partner that is helping us do some of these basic optimizations for profitability with way less work and attention from our brand, because we've got a lot to do, just like you guys. And so kind of automating things like treasury management and like sweep stuff that we kind of did manually before. How do we take that off our plates and still reap the benefit? I guess the third thing that we were looking for is more of like a strategic partner, right? Where banking is high stakes and working capital and treasury management and e-commerce in general is really high stakes. And I think you guys have talked about this in various tweets and blog posts and here on the podcast. But sometimes if you mess up with a forecasting decision, like you just find yourself in trouble way faster than you think. And that's compounded when you're growing really fast. Maybe when you're a mid-sized brand, you don't yet have the clout to negotiate those amazing terms with your suppliers. And so how do we get a partner that is like kind of like a fractional CFO, but we don't have to pay for a fractional CFO? And maybe they can give us some of these insights in a more reliable and automated way when we're maybe going to run into trouble or see around a corner that we don't necessarily realize when we're making a big inventory purchase or decision. So reliability, I think tactical automation, and then strategic partnership. That's like my 3 bullet framework for what we were looking for. And I don't know, Highbeam was probably the only bank we have interviewed that we've ever talked to that was a real shot at doing all three with us.
We designed this only for consumer brands, right? So people ask, like, why would you build a financial platform? No other financial platform is really vertical specific. Like your bank banks everyone, your credit card goes for everyone. Like, why build a financial platform specific for consumer brands? And I think consumer brand finances are one quite difficult. You have like unit skew economics, you have tons of daily inflows and outflows. And so using the financial products just to be able to automate them to actually get value from them is difficult. I'll just give you an example on the Treasury side. Like most people run their business out of a 0% checking account, right? And that's not a big deal if you're running, variable inflows and outflows, and you can move money back and forth. But what we realized for most 8-figure and 9-figure consumer brands, if we could just give them a 2.5% checking account, a 4% instant liquidity high yield account, a line of credit, and automate the money in between the movement daily, like that's worth $100,000 to someone to be able to do yourself because of the fact that you have all this money coming in and out every day. Different than a services business or a tech business. So we'll go build a solution to try to automate that for this specific use case and provide that, which hopefully adds value. It's the same thing we've tried to do across forecasting and cash modeling and all of that. And by focusing on one vertical, we hope we can add value to Sean, you in the future on things like, how can I get a live cash flow forecast that's reliable, that helps me make better decisions on what can I do with my cash? Can I make it used more effectively? I think the small things that add up, once you have a business of that scale, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. But like, can I just add one more thing? Like, I think something that's important is that you guys also nail the basics, right? Like I'm not logging into SVB's client portal anymore. And that itself, like God bless, our friends at SVB, but that is worth a lot right there. It's a clean interface, $3 million of FDIC insurance. That gives us a lot of peace of mind, right? Like it's the foundation, I think, to getting us started and starting to take advantage of some of these other amazing services that you guys offer, like the cash flow management, the auto sweeps into the high yield accounts. But it starts with like, you guys have a rock solid basic product, right? And I think from there, we start to get even more excited about the additional functionality that exists.
Sean, I don't know about you, but like the interesting thing to me is when I talk to a lot of like sort of call it like 10 million to 30 or $40 million brands, banking sucks. Like this is sort of like when they get over bitching and moaning about advertising, it's inevitably you wind up in a like, hey, how do you guys get a line of credit? Or how do you guys, like, my bank is an asshole. What do I do? It is like it's like the telecom of consumer. Like banks exist to just not be liked.
Yeah.
It's like they're in the business of dissatisfaction.
No, look, and we have been talking to Highbeam for a while, right? And so, our banking, here's Sean Frank's banking journey, okay? We have a Mercury account, which, we do with whatever for like small inflows, outflows. Most of our money just actually sits inside of a Chase account. So I'm probably sitting with, it's multiple millions, if not $10 million just sitting in a Chase account, earning $0. And getting Chase to give me a line of credit took like 8 years of working with them, right? Like I was on a call with them, yesterday, and they're like, Sean, we are so happy to announce you are officially a small mid-market customer. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Like you have all of my money. I've been with you for 10 years and like you're still calling me small. And we've been talking to Highbeam, and I have a VP of finance, his name's Ariston. And I always bitch at him that I think we have too many people on the finance team. And I personally do all of our 13-week cash flow forecasts. So every Friday, I'm in there individually pulling all of our statements from all of our accounts, who we owe money, everything. And Eric comes to me and he goes, Sean, Highbeam can do all of that, and we could probably get rid of an accountant. So I'm like, damn, dude, sign me up. I cannot wait. We have a 7-person accounting team right now. I would love to get to a mean 6. But with that being said, Samir, do I pay for this? Like, what actually is the product people sign up for?
Yeah, so it's a great question. There's 2 products. There's all of the banking features and automation associated with the banking, and that comes for free. So we only work with customers of a certain size and larger, which is why we can do the best in class service and all the things the big banks, for whatever reason, don't think you're big enough for. So you have someone's cell phone number to call, all those things. So the banking and the automation associated with it is free. What we're now trialing for free as well is the AI intelligence layer. So the cash scenario modeling, forecasting, which you have a 4-month free trial for. So that's set up with, is part of the intelligence layer to say, can that add enough value where you don't have to hire that extra analyst, where you can get that free cash flow, 13-week cash flow statement automated? That comes as part of essentially a SaaS fee, which is what you're paying for. But again, only if it adds enough value where it's adding enough stuff so that you can say this is worth what that is. Does that make sense? To answer your question?
Yeah. So day one, I'm getting a free bank account like any other bank account. I'm putting my money in there. I'm running transactions, and you guys are like, we're better than everything out there because we're built specifically for e-commerce, and we're gonna give you a return on the cash sitting in here, right? Chase just lends it out for mortgages, and I don't get any piece of that, but they're gonna be like, hey, you're getting at least 2% right off the top on that, right?
Actually, probably higher than that. So what's interesting is like the banks had like record profits in 2024, partly because there's this, if you're Microsoft and you have a 100-person treasury team, you're doing this manually. But if we can do it for scale for 8 and 9-figure brands, exactly what you said, which is like you have 2.5% of your checking account, but the automated sweeps to say, I want to maintain a balance of whatever you want, and then move automatically that money to a 4% savings account. And if you get above a certain threshold, sweep that out to my JP Morgan money market account or whatever that might be. So now suddenly you have this tiered system where on autopilot, your money just works for you, right? And you have it in the right place at the right time. The same thing on lending. I don't think people, either people have a lot of money or they have a lot of debt. People don't realize sometimes how much they're spending on interest, right? The way to, in our opinion, to mitigate that is, just like you do it for your yield, you can do the same thing on your interest. Like if you have a line of credit that you can automate the movement between, then you can have a line of credit and a checking account. It automatically pulls down right when you need it, pays back when you don't. And then you can do that with another third line, an asset-based lender or a bank line of credit, or wherever you want. So you automate your yield, minimize your interest, and that's usually worth quite a bit. The juice is worth the squeeze for any business that's over $5 million.
Dude, yeah, look, and I think people should really understand this whole sweeps idea because it took me a long time to come around to it. I'm like, I have money in my bank. Like, where's it going? They're like, to a different bank that pays automatically. But you just say, hey, always keep $1 million in fresh cash, right? Like I need $1 million to cover daily expenses. But what am I doing? I literally have an extra 5 million then because I keep about 5 million in treasuries. I have $6 million in my cash on hand account. And then like, okay, Sean, you don't need all that cash. Let's earn it quickly with 4%, 8%, whatever,
Yep.
right? And yeah, dude, it's smart. And if it goes automatically back and forth, it's all FDIC insured. It sounds pretty good. How come the big banks don't do this to me? They just don't have to?
Well, the answer before, they have record profits. The less facetious answer is, I think they don't, for whatever reason, they don't care at all the small mid-market, which is kind of crazy to me to think about you as a small mid-market, but they just are in the wholesale business. So if you're JP Morgan and you have a $1 trillion balance sheet or whatever their balance sheet is, like they honestly compete on regulation and kind of size. They are not competing, just like the telcos, like you mentioned, Matt, they're not competing on customer service and the best product to the customers. Like it's gotten so skewed that the big banks don't have to compete on products and service. Like, when was the last time you heard someone say that there's any difference in products and services from any of the banks, right? You name it, Bank of America, Chase, whoever it might be, right? They just don't have to compete on that. And so for the first time, we believe now that we can compete and win on things like customer service and product and making you money. And, there's other great companies out there that have started to do this, like Brex and Mercury and Ramp. But we believe if you really focus on the needs of this specific segment, you can actually build products that are for this segment. And that's, I think, the big difference.
Yeah. Well, the advantage of being at Citi is they might give you $60 trillion. So if you're not going to go
I
through
heard that. They take it back, though. I'm pretty sure they got it back.
They got it back. Yeah.
No, it makes a ton of sense. And also, we've seen that there can be really good venture outcomes in this space, right? Like, Ramp, $13 billion valuation, tackling the credit card first. And I think it does makes a lot more sense to be like, no, we're going to tackle the bank account first. You guys eventually roll out a great credit card product or whatever else, but like actually making, nobody likes their bank. It's always a horrible experience. So actually making that seamless is awesome. I'm really excited for this AI layer thing rolling out. That's really what pushed me over the edge. Because
Yeah.
after this podcast ends, I have to go pull that manually. I'm not on Highbeam yet, so I'm really excited to like just get that every single day sent to me.
We're super excited about it, and we've been doing a lot of work here to basically what's happened is your financial data is scattered across the enterprise, as you know, right? You have your credit card data, you have your QuickBooks data, you have your Shopify sales data. It's all in like 10 different places. So first is get that together and clean that so you have a foundation in one place in real time. And that's a lot of the work we did. And then now, how do you get access to that data, both in a live Google Sheet, a 13-flow cash flow statement, but also now you can access that through LLMs or AI or other ways. So how do we go and launch now these kind of AI agents essentially to access that data that can also then move the money? And that's really the exciting part, because we can do that understanding this specific need. So the Treasury thing we mentioned about like AI being able to move that money back and forth, but also doing basic scenario analysis. So with our AI launch that's coming out, we should be able to have you ask a question like, what would happen if my return rate on my top selling SKU spiked by 5%? What's the impact on cash? Now, we might have to ask a few more questions and kind of go through it, but we're very close to actually giving you a 95% accurate answer for those like quick, tell me this, because we have access to the accurate data. And that I think really becomes the game changer for like, could we give you a tool where you can literally log in and ask those questions that are top of mind, either for recall because you need that number right away, or you want to do a quick scenario analysis or whatever that might be. So you have to talk to your finance team.
It's like an AI FP&A person. Is that
exactly
like
right? So we're calling
I was
that's
going to
exactly
say,
right.
You eventually solve the biggest and most annoying operational problem that probably all of us have, which is inventory forecasting, right? And even the
like
multi-billion-dollar brand. Exactly, scenario analysis, because it's fundamentally uncertain, right? You can do your best, but we have to draft up all these scenarios manually right now, and everyone does it in spreadsheets. Apple still does it in a spreadsheet. And so that's true, actually. Like they're still doing FP&A in a giant spreadsheet. So
well, now I get why David is working with you guys. This is pretty cool, man. Well, okay, I only have one question.
Please.
Okay, you guys like, dude, I moved to British Columbia from Burlington. So like we are like cousins here, man.
Yes.
Like we were very close, okay? When can I actually get this in Canada? Like I'm still a Canadian company. I bank with TD. I don't have when do I get the cool toys?
We've been asked that a lot as a Canadian. It hurts me to say no time soon. But if you have a U.S. entity, we're the bank for you. But it's just Canadian banks are even worse than U.S. banks when it comes to this stuff, which is hard to buy now.
Yeah. Oh no. You got you. Yeah, totally.
And so not quite yet. Although the AI layer, we can pull the data from the Canadian banks. So there might be a world in which you can get access to your AI analyst, actually not in the not so distant future, but not anytime soon is the unfortunate answer on the banking side.
All right.
Well, dude, this is a long-standing tradition of really smart Canadian operators making stuff for Americans. So from Shopify to Pillowcase to now Highbeam.
Yeah.
But Samir, before we end this, you said this is only available for certain size businesses. So who can benefit from this right now? Who is like the actual customer that can save money or make money using these tools?
So any business with over $1 million of sales, we're happy to talk to and onboard. And the reason we set that threshold is because we want to make sure that we provide the services out of the gate that makes them successful. So if you have over $1 million of sales and you're an omni-channel consumer brand, basically someone with physical goods that you're selling primarily online, but also on retail or wholesale, you're in a sweet spot. Anyone from $10 million in sales onwards, we would do a lot more with a free assessment and kind of a lot of the bells and whistles around trialing the AI, giving you a dedicated management, relationship management person, and giving you a dedicated implementation person. And that's a large part of what we're trying to do here is take all of those janky manual spreadsheets that everyone has and make sure that we can use our data to automate those and then use those to go drive better business decisions. So that requires a lot of investment on our side, but we think that, anyone from $1 million onwards, we're happy to make that investment to try to make it happen. And that's kind of how we work with consumer brands in general.
Well, dude, I mean, that's everybody listening right now. So all 20,000 of you, David from, I guess he's the president of Highbeam now. So I guess you're the guy you get to hang out with every day. He told me that I'll be making over $300,000 a year for free from the Treasury sweeps thing. So is that typical?
Well, you have a lot more cash than some that have sitting in your 0% checking account, but it's not atypical to have hundreds of thousands of dollars of value. Like 300,000-400,000 at a business your size is not atypical. That is completely accurate.
There's just free money. And
it's free money.
To be super clear how the free money is generated, it goes from a FDIC insured bank account to a different higher yield FDIC insured.
So let me just walk you through it exactly so there's no confusion, because it's a good point. People are like, wait a minute, why does this exist? So most people, you're running in a 0% checking account, your business day to day. And that's because the banks have decided that that's a good number that people should accept. There's no fundamental reason why it should be. So first of all, the money comes in from the day it hits the bank account, you're making 2.5%. Now that will be swept to a high yield account, that's a savings account at say 4% every day automatically. And if you want to then sweep it again every day or every week to a money market account or a treasury account or whatever else account you want, you can set that up as well. So the way the FDIC insurance works is, that's kind of the sweep process. That makes sense? And so you're earning basically, instead of saying, oh, I'll let my money pile up in the 0% checking account until it's at 5 million. Then once a quarter, I'll look at it and say like, shoot, I should move this money out. Now you're moving it out every day. And the forecasting helps you be confident that you always have access to enough cash at enough points in time. So that's the sweep part. The FDIC insurance part is important to understand. So every account in the US has by default $250,000 of FDIC insurance. That is the federal government guarantees that your money up to $250,000, if the bank fails in the unlikely event, the federal government will make available to you the next day, right? So that is kind of the baseline protection that every bank account has. What we do is we're able to offer much higher than that through a process called intrabank sweeps. So this is what large customers do, which is they basically split your deposits into 250K tranches and overnight those to different banks and reconstitute it. So by doing the stacking, essentially all your money is FDIC insured, which is a big unlock to feel sleep well at night, to know that your entire cash balance is FDIC insured. So that is the mechanism where for larger companies, we start at 3 million, but we've gone all the way up to 100 million, that you can go and make sure that you have FDIC insurance on your entire cash at all points in time. Did that answer your question, Sean?
Yeah. Look, and I'm gonna explain it back to all the other smooth brains out there in operators world. So what they're saying is, right now I'm just gonna say $5 million sitting in a 0% Chase bank account, and it's actually worse than 0% because they charge me fees every time I use it. So that bank account isn't staying flat; it's going down. And let's say in a typical 2-week period, I probably need access to $2 million, right? So I have $3 million extra in just bonus money that literally just sits in the bank account, makes me feel better. And what you guys are saying is, hey, look, we're going to take that $3 million and we're going to put that into a minimum of 2.5% annual, yield on that, up to 4. Maybe you can get 5.5 if you get something crazy. Money market, it's all insured or whatever. But then we're going to say it's $2.5 million. We're going to take that into 10 equal sums of $250,000 and spread that in 10 separate bank accounts that all have your name on it. You have access to, and you're still earning that yield. It's still insured, and it's either going to sit in your bank account or you can make some money for you. And So there's 2 reasons why I signed up with Highbeam. Three. Number one, I like David. I asked him to be on my board one time, so I really like him. I think he's a great operator. Number two, I really am looking forward to this automated AI future. If AI is taking over coding, it makes a ton of sense for it to take over finance, right? Like these are verifiable facts, so like it should be able to, you know, bounce off and balance those things, right? And then number three, I would love to make a free $300,000. So I'll let you guys know my experience with Highbeam in the next couple of weeks.
Amazing.
Right on. Well, guys, this was super great. It was nice to like get the full like unpack on everything.
Yeah, and then last thing, plug on how people can access Highbeam. So we do have a special deal on highbeam.co/operators that'll be live to give people a 4-month access to the free AI features. So people can log in, try it out, try out the AI analyst, try out the AI Treasury, try out the AI bookkeeping. And if it adds value, of course, we'd love to chat with them, but we'll make that available for free to all listeners as well.
You guys heard it here first. You want free AI, more AI in your business, potentially save $300,000 or getting free money? Go to highbeam.co/operators. And then, Sib, on your side, how can I get 10% off my next laptop stand?
branchfurniture.com/operators, which is a link I'm going to create right after this session.
All right. So if you want awesome next generation banking or potentially some really cool, wooden furniture, Operators, the place to go, man. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks so much, guys.
Appreciate it.